Hello, this is Dr. Sharif Mohammed, a research specialist. You know, it's a fear we all have, right? What happens in a real medical emergency? What if you or someone you love gets rushed to a hospital but can't get care just because you don't have cash on you right then and there? Well, today, we're going to dig into a really powerful law in Kerala that has totally changed the game for patient rights. It literally puts protection right into your hands, especially when you need it most.
But look, to really get what this act means, we're not going to just sift through a bunch of legal jargon. That's no fun. Instead, let's make it real. We're going to follow the story of a man named Rashid. We'll see how this law actually works in the real world, protecting him at every single step of a terrifying life-or-death situation. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in Manathavadi in Wayanad, and it's late, really late, 1:30 in the morning. A 45-year-old farmer named Rashid suddenly wakes up with this sharp, crushing pain in his chest. I mean, it's that terrifying moment, the one every family dreads.
So what do? Exactly what you or I would do. They rush him to the closest private clinic they can find. But here's the thing. In the past, this is precisely where things could go horribly wrong. This is the moment a critical, life-threatening delay could start. And we all know that in a situation like this, every single second counts.
Think about it. Before this law came into effect, that clinic could have just demanded a big cash deposit before a doctor even laid eyes on him. Or they might have just shrugged and said, "Sorry, no ICU here. You're on your own." Can you imagine? Leaving the family scrambling to find another place? But now, things are completely different.
So, what was the big change? What caused this massive shift? Well, it's all down to one piece of legislation that completely rewrote the rulebook for patient care in the state. And it's called the Kerala Clinical Establishments Act. Okay, so what is this act really? In simple terms, it's a state law that's all about making sure that every single place that provides healthcare, we're talking public, private, big, small, meets certain minimum standards for safety and quality. But here are the two magic words to remember: emergency care and transparency. That's its core. And listen, this isn't some brand new idea that's still being figured out. Nope. This act was passed way back in 2018. They started putting it into action in 2019, and just recently, it was fully backed up by the Kerala High Court, so it has real teeth. It's got a rock-solid legal foundation.
What's really amazing is just how wide this net is cast. We're not just talking about the big, fancy hospitals. This law covers, well, pretty much everything. Modern medicine, of course, but also Ayurveda, homeopathy, Siddha, Unani, you name it. Dental clinics, yep. Diagnostic labs, them too. Basically, if it's a place you go to get any kind of healthcare in Kerala, you can bet it's covered by this act.
All right, so now that we know what the law is, let's get back to Rashid. Let's see how these rules play out in real time and actually protect him and his terrified family.
Okay, so there's Rashid at the door of the clinic in agony with chest pain. With this new law in place, what does that clinic have to do? What are their legal obligations? Can they still just say no and send him away?
The answer is a clear and absolute no. That clinic now has two critical duties. These are non-negotiable. First, they have to give him immediate emergency care to get him stable, using whatever facilities they have on hand. And second, if he needs a higher level of care, they have to help arrange for a safe transfer to another hospital. They can't just push him out the door and wash their hands of it. That's a huge deal.
So Rashid gets safely moved to a bigger hospital in Calcutta. And the moment his family walks through the doors, probably still shaking and worried sick, they see something that immediately tackles one of the biggest anxieties, a big display board. And on it, all the service charges and patient rights are listed out, clear as day, in both Malayalam and English. Instantly, there's less confusion. No more worrying about hidden fees.
And this idea of transparency, of clarity, it goes straight to the heart of what stresses families out the most in a medical crisis: the bill.
You know how it used to be. You just get this one big, confusing number at the end. Well, those days are gone. Now the hospital has to give you an estimate of the costs up front. And this is so important. They have to give you a final bill that is fully itemized. That means Rashid's family has the right to see every single thing they're being charged for, one item at a time.
Okay, but what about when things get complicated? You know, when unexpected issues pop up during treatment? The High Court actually made this super clear. If there was an agreed-upon package price for a surgery, for example, the hospital has to stick to it. But if extra charges are needed because of a complication, they have to list them separately. And, this is key, they have to explain why and justify every single extra charge to the family. No more mystery fees.
So what if Rashid's family looks at the bill and thinks, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right, or if they have any other problem at all? Well, now there's a clear, step-by-step process. No more feeling helpless or arguing with someone who won't listen. They can go right to the hospital's grievance desk, file a formal complaint, and get a reference number to track it. And if the hospital doesn't sort it out, they can take it to the next level, the district medical officer.
So you see, Rashid's story isn't just some hypothetical tale. It's a perfect example of how this act works in the real world to give power back to you, the patient, right when you feel the most powerless.
So, let's just boil it all down. What are your key takeaways here? What are your rights? Number 1, a hospital can't deny you emergency care just because you don't have the cash right then. Number 2, you get predictable pricing and the right to see an itemized bill. No more surprises. Number 3, all these places have to meet minimum safety and equipment standards. And finally, you have a clear official way to complain if something feels wrong. That's real power.
When you really look at it, this law is a fundamental power shift. It moves the power from the institution to the individual, to the patient. It makes it crystal clear that in an emergency, a person's life comes before profits. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Knowing all of this now, what's the one right you'll hold on to? What's the one thing you'll remember if you or someone you love ever faces that midnight emergency?